All right. So what is going on, Sactown? It is Sactown Pete back at it again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got a very special guest joining me in today's video. He goes by the name of Skipintosh. He is the Sactown Breakdown. Runs the Sactown Breakdown Twitter. I'll link all of his links in the description below. Go check him out. He's done a fantastic job on Twitter, and he also has a YouTube channel as well that he breaks down Sacramento Kings videos and games, should I say. And Skip, man, it's great to have you on board, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about the Sactown Breakdown, man.
I appreciate you. It's an honor and a blessing to be here, Pete. Just to be with you and talk with you, and of course, for you to, have this conversation with me with the fantastic SP. I call him SP, Sactown P audience. Hey, long time Hooper fan. Hoop for a long time. On up until high school, I got into skateboarding, so I was still watching hoop because I couldn't turn away because the Sacramento Kings, for once in the existence of them being in Sacramento, were really good. So, of course, enjoyed those years. And then it was about, because it was 2013 to 20. So since about 2014, in various iterations, I've been covering like the NBA, Sacramento Kings, or both. So I was part of a podcast called the Be Clear Radio Podcast, and it was interesting because it was two Kings fans and then two Lakers fans. So that was interesting. But we covered the NBA. I broke off. I did my Sacramento Kings podcast, my first one called King Me Hoops. Okay. So that was from a few years back. If you, some of y'all may or may not remember that. Went back over, kept doing the All NBA with No Hezzy Hoopcast with my friends, and then at that time, I ran into a guy named Tap2K on YouTube, and he was a Kings fan, and he was covering Kings, and he was like, "I'm gonna make a Kings channel," and I was like, "I like this guy," and I hit him up, and it was weird because we like got into it at first. Right. But I feel like all the people that like I get into it at first, we end up being cool, like really tight. Right. So he started the Sactown Breakdown right after his first video. We had talked. We met at a Kings game. We hit it off, and then I joined him, and then he and I went back and forth. He took a break from the Kings when the pandemic started. He decided to stay in retirement, and it was just like, Skip, carry it for us. So ever since then, it's been Skip with the Sactown Breakdown, yo.
Nice, man. Well, hey, my guy, I appreciate you doing what you do, man, because it's great stuff. It's always great to connect and vibe with all of our, Sacramento Kings content creators, and just seeing your work ethic and your breakdowns. It's really nice to tune in. So I appreciate you doing what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're killing it. Man. Whew. So without further ado, let's talk it up, man. Let's talk about basketball, because Sacramento Kings, let's just talk about this last week, man. Let's take it back to Black Friday. You go to LA, you play the Lakers at Staples, you go triple overtime against LeBron. You managed to find out to somehow win the ball game, which is great. I mean, anytime you go into triple overtime against the Lakers, come out on top, it's always a great feeling. And let's just be real. There's no better feeling than a W over the Los Angeles Lakers on the road or at home. So Thanks. After that night, you get 2 days off or a day off, and you go to Sunday, you go to Memphis without John Morant. You lay an egg, you get destroyed by 27 points. So, okay, willing to give them the benefit of doubt. Okay, you know what? They had a triple overtime game Friday night, travel time to Memphis. All right, everything's cool. Just we'll let it slip. We'll come back home and do some home cooking. So Tuesday, great first half. Man, probably one of the best first halves this team has played.
Yeah.
Second half, Russ comes out swinging. AD comes out swinging. Lakers go on a 40-8 run. The Laker fans get real and loud at Golden One. And Alvin Gentry's disgusted because not only did he had to experience that, we get routed. We get destroyed. Once they came out in the second half, the Lakers, they never looked back. They got back in the game, and the Kings ended up, losing one of their worst games of the season. So then, 24 hours later, you go to Staples Center, and you just go into LA and beat the Clippers. Just give it to them. So it's like the consistency, man, my guy. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of like rinse and repeat of what it's been. but just reminiscing a lot of last year. You have a big win, and then you lose a couple of games. So they're 3-3 now with Alvin Gentry. Since Alvin Gentry has taken over, we all know about Luke Walton getting canned a couple weeks ago. What do you think about this team currently right now? We're 9-14. We got a home game coming up against these same Clippers. Paul George is probably expected to play. He sat out last game because he was resting, but I believe that he will play tomorrow night, and it's a home game. And I just want to get your take on it, man. How do you feel about where we're at right now, and what do you think of this team playing the last week?
It's a very interesting time. So, as you already mentioned, we're out of the Walton era. We're 6 games at this point into the Gentry era, if you will. I think initially it would be logical to say, okay, well, Gentry was here when Luke was here, so he should have, that much more of an understanding of what lineups are going to work and how they're going to work and whatnot. But I think we found out the truth is that even he is still trying to find that out. And I can appreciate how transparent he is with with us as fans, saying we're going to find the right group of guys, we're going to find the right combination and whatnot. So I appreciate his transparency. And I think the most frustrating thing, Pete, for all of us is when we saw the roster upgrades that Monty McNair made last year via trades. We saw the impact that those players had. We saw the impact that Terrence Davis brought initially. We saw the impact that, gosh, how am I forgetting his name already? But we ended up trading him over to Atlanta when Tristan Thompson came in. But we saw what the roster was before, and then these additions, how they upgraded it, and then. We saw who Monty McNair retained and who he brought in. So we looked as a Kings community, we looked at the roster as upgrades. So when they were underperforming, I think we all scratched our heads. And I think that's the most frustrating thing right now too, is just to see the roster underperform. So I know, like you said, you're on Kings Twitter, I'm on Kings Twitter.
Right.
We see the temperature. Some people are like, blow it up. Other people are like, let's get a bigger sample size. Where I'm at personally with it all, and it's tough for me to say this because I've been witnessing all of this mediocrity for so long, and we've all been deserving more. But I really am at the point where I really want to see the roster, even a very similar roster to what we have now, maybe with a little more wing depth. But I really would like to see the roster under Monty's coach. So that's what I want to see. But the roster as it sits right now with Alvin Gentry, I think Alvin Gentry can get these guys playing a little bit better. Right. But where they're at right now, it does feel like the roster is insufficient. And even the players admit that they're not playing up to what they should be. So that's where I'm at with it right now. What about you?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way as well. See, my thing is I was heavily critical of Luke Walton's era, especially last season. Yeah. Had he survived multiple 9-game losing streaks, that's just absurd. And knowing the fact that, Monty McNair coming out in the summer saying that, oh, he's our guy moving forward. He's going to be who will lead this team back to the playoffs. So, okay, we come into the season, we won the toughest schedule to start out the 10 games. We're 5-5. I was optimistic. I'm like, okay, as badly as not everybody is on Luke Walton's side, I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm willing to clean the slate, give him a chance, see where it goes. 5-5. I thought he did a fantastic job the first 10 games, knowing that how, we started out. But then like the 7 out of 8, stretch happens. And it's like, oh man, it's like the players, like, have they given up on him? De'Aaron Fox's body language, I wasn't digging that. Some of his post-game pressures, I was kind of confused. Like, okay, like it just seems like the team's tapped out. And then the whole Marvin Bagley situation, which, me personally, I kind of took it to the heart because I really thought Bagley coming in would be the starter and would get playing time under Luke Walton. But then, like, even him coming out in training camp, training camp coming out saying, yeah, this is one of the best camps I've been. It's very competitive. I'm ready. So then opening night comes around in Portland. His agent comes out. The reports come out. Everybody, Mr. Ham, everybody comes out and saying that, oh, he's out of the rotation. He's not even in the rotation. So I'm like thinking like, what? Okay, so it's just some things didn't add up because like he's coming out saying, oh, it's the best camps I've been a part of, and I'm ready to, just prove my worth. And then him not being in the rotation. So I'm like, what is really going on? So I think it's kind of funny the fact that, Luke Walton gets canned, Alvin Gentry takes over, and then you see Marvin Bagley all of a sudden in the rotation and he's getting playing time. So I'm like, okay, I mean, Luke, like what? I mean, I get it from a business. At the end of the day, it's still a business. He's your former number two overall pick. Why let him rot on the bench? If you don't like the kid or if you don't want to play him, you got to play him, man, is what I'm saying. Because let's face it, the Sacramento Kings power forward position is really thin. No disrespect to Chimezie Metu, Jones. They've been busting and working their asses off. But I feel like the way Marvin Bagley was treated was not the right way. And there's a couple of players that I currently know on the team that I'm in connection with family members that feel the same way as well. So I feel for Marvin Bagley, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that he's getting playing time under Alvin Gentry now, to showcase, what he's capable of, and we all know what he's capable of. I mean, I was at the game last week against the Blazers where he hit that big three, being there live and seeing that, and just seeing him play with the passion and heart, and he just let it all out, man. It was a great moment to see that, not only for us Kings fans, but for Marvin himself too, to hit that big three, just let it all out, man. And it was great to see that. So where I'm at right now, I'm with you, Skip. Luke Walton should have been let go of over the summer, and I feel like Monte McNair should have made that decision then to let him go and then bring in whoever he wants, or give Alvin Gentry the keys. But now I feel like, okay, we're under Alvin Gentry now. Let's say after the season, let's just say we finish wherever we're going to finish. Is Monte McNair going to bring in his own guy after this season, or are we going to stick with Alvin Gentry? Because I feel like in ways, I don't want to say this, but it kind of feels like it's a lost season in ways. But at the same time, it's like we're going to bring in a new coach, a new coaching system along with the new coach. I feel like it's going to be a new system, and a roster could be in for a big shakeup as well. So where I'm at, I mean, I want to stay optimistic. I want to stay, hopeful that we can still turn it around. And let's face it, we still have 60 something games left. So we're sitting at 9-14. The Western Conference, I mean, talk about 1 through 3, they're stacked together. But after that, 4 through 10, 11, dude, it's like a game. It's like 2-3 games apart, man. So I'm staying hopeful, but at the same time, Monte McNair, he felt like this was a perfect decision to make right now. I know De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton voiced their opinion and spoke highly of Luke Walton to retain him, and I think that was a big factor of why he was retained. Because anytime if two of your best players come out and say that they want to keep coach, then you got to do your due diligence and do your part. But now I feel like, okay, maybe Monte McNair told them to specifically, like, hey, we can't go where we want to go with Luke Walton. I got to make this change now. So this is where we're at right now, man. It's very unfortunate that it didn't work out with Luke Walton. I wanted it to work out. I really did want it to work out with it. But now I feel like with Luke Walton gone, maybe this will be an opportunity where they can somehow find a way to salvage the season. I mean, the way I think of it, Atlanta Hawks, they made that coaching change early on the season last year, and look where they got. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, they did have an all-star in Trae Young, who's a baller, and they had nice pieces around Trae. The Kings currently do not have an all-star. We thought De'Aaron Fox would take that leap this year, and that hasn't happened, unfortunately. And speaking of De'Aaron Fox, I wanted to ask you about De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Can he be the guy that he can lead this team? Can he be that guy? Because I've seen on Kings Twitter, like, hey, he ain't it. He's not the guy. He's more of a Robin. He's not a Batman. What's your take on De'Aaron Fox? Because obviously we gave him a max extension. He's in his 5th year. He's still 23 years old. Still got a lot of growing and potential. Still has a lot of potential. And can he be that guy? Can he be that number one option, you think? What's your take on that?
I believe he can. But I believe he's got a ways to go in order to do it. We saw flashes of him being that guy last season. That version of Fox that got what was it? I don't remember if it was player of the month or player of the week, but when he was, that stretch of time when he was the top performer in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
showed us, the potential for that. Fox's things, Fox, and this is what alarmed me when we first got him. I saw him as a little bit of kind of a laissez-faire type of guy. He's kind of a take it or leave it type of personality. And that is at first, I used to call him the little prince. I was like, he don't feel like a king to me. He feel like a little prince, a little entitled, a little too cool for school. But tough. If he's not like, he's not tempered glass, like we saw him, get shoulder injuries. We saw him get, various things that we would be understanding if he came out of the game, if we protected his body, gave him time to heal. But he played through those things. So that's when I started to respect him a little more. I said, okay, where he doesn't lead vocally, he leads by example. And I do want to give him his props. I have seen Fox a little bit at the end of last season and more so this season, be more vocal. I've seen him call people to spots, no, go over there. And then I've seen him put people in spots and then make plays when people go to the spots he tells them to. So I'm saying, okay, I got to give you props for leadership. You're
Right.
being vocal, you're being commanding, you're directing
Right.
as a floor general should. And then you make things happen once you do that.
Right.
That tells your team to trust you because they have confidence in your decision making because of the success from it. So I see those things there. But my thing with Fox is, when he was playing at his best, especially last season, he was playing with you mentioned it with Bagley, how Bagley got to hit that three and let it all out.
Yeah.
He got to show emotion. Fox has to show emotion and he has to play with the fire.
Mhm.
So, I don't love the fact that we keep comparing the two, but it's a thing. Whereas Ja is a self-starter and has a lot of fire. Maybe he doesn't have the body and the physicality of Fox, but he's got the fire.
Yeah.
Fox has to have a coach to put that inside of him a little more. And some people don't need it. Some people do. Well, we heard the whole Tristan Thompson thing, but my thing is we drafted him. We got him. We know what he can do. We know where he falls short. If we could just get someone to put a battery in his back, then absolutely he can be the guy. But we have not drafted well over the last 15 seasons in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So I'm just not one of those people that is so quick to give up on a Marvin Bagley, so quick to give up on a Fox. You mentioned it early, Pete, and you made a great point. You may not, Luke may not have liked Marvin Bagley, and Luke may have looked at it like, I got to be as safe as possible because I know I'm in the hot seat. I got to play vets that I know will make less mistakes. And okay, but when you have assets, you got to let them rip because we really got to people are talking about take a chance on other teams. We got to take a chance with the number 2 pick and the number 5 pick we got, and we got to ride that out.
Right.
And see what can happen. So my whole thing right now is let's get Monty let Fox keep a coach that he liked. Let's get Fox a coach that he will respect and that will take Fox to the next level.
I'm with you on that, man. And it's like, you talk about Bagley, you talk about Fox. I mean, I don't want to give up on Bagley either. I get destroyed on my Bagley videos and my Bagley posts on Twitter because it's like, I get it. He was taking over Luka. He was taking over Trae Young. I get that. I totally understand where everybody's coming from. But at the same time, I feel like we haven't seen the best of Bagley yet. And that's very unfortunate because he's been dealing with the nagging injuries. And I feel like this season, it's just been the playing time and the whole out of the rotation. But now with Alvin Gentry taking over, I think that's going to do wonders for Bagley. And I think it's going to open up his game and just continue to have him play and get more playing time. And he's a good kid, man. I mean, I've had multiple conversations with his dad. I think they're just they're very passionate about, him and his family and one of his boys playing basketball. Heck, if I was a father, if my son was, I would probably be the same way as well. But
right.
Bagley's, he's a good kid, man. I just want to see him succeed. Whether it's here in Sacramento while it's time, I'm hoping that it works out. And if it doesn't, very unfortunate, but I want to see the kid succeed. And I feel like he doesn't deserve the negativity and the hate that he's gotten his first 3 seasons in Sacramento.
It goes a little overboard. And I get it from Kings fans' perspective. I get the whole, I get the what he said in the podcast, and I get the whole social media thing. But here's my thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. We have been bad for so long. I would be fine with the player being on our team that I didn't personally like, as long as he contributed to winning.
Right.
But when it's a rookie like this, and especially rookie big men, the team has to develop that talent and put it into them. And it can't be a personal thing. This, you said it earlier, Pete. This is business. This is the National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
So if I didn't personally like quite a few players that have been on the Kings and some of the things that they've done,
Yeah.
but if they're leading to us being a winning team, if they can lead to us getting out of this mud, out of this slump, that this historical slump that we've been in,
Yeah.
then you could do whatever you want on social media. All I have to do is ignore you and not give a damn about that. But when I watch the Kings game, go out there and do your thing. But in order for him to do his thing, we have to play him enough to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you, Skip. And it's funny because his rookie year under Dave Yeager, nobody was saying anything negative about him. I mean, we saw flashes of what he could be. I mean, we saw him put up like 30 birds against DeAndre Ayton multiple
Yes.
times his rookie year. But it's a damn shame that obviously after Dave Yeager, I mean, you let go of Dave Yeager, who led you to your best season in 13 seasons, and I'm like, wow, okay, maybe we're gonna regress. And obviously with Luke coming on, it's a whole new system, a whole new play style. Whereas we're playing super fast pace under Dave Yeager. And shout out to Dave Yeager, man. He's been dealing with some health issues, and keeping him in my prayers and thoughts, man. Definitely a wonderful time. I enjoyed his 3 years here in Sacramento with us, and really wanted it to work out for the long run and have him be the one to break this playoff drought. But very unfortunate he was let go of.
Yeah.
Now it's like, we're 15 years in this drought. Alvin Gentry, I mean, I wish him the best. I'm hoping that there's a resolution of where he can just find a way to get this team on board and push through and get this drought over with, because the Sacramento Kings should be doing everything in their power and will to end this drought. And I think that Monty McNair, when the time is right, will hopefully try to get that steered in the right way and hopefully get that drought ended. I want to ask you about obviously you're familiar with the Ben Simmons rumors all summer long. Our name has been linked to Ben Simmons since like last season ended, since back in April. I pushed for Ben Simmons because I feel like we needed that third piece to go with the Fox and the Halliburton. I feel
Mhm.
like Ben Simmons, anytime an all-star caliber player of his talent and caliber is available and he's open to come into Sacramento, you got to take a chance. You got to make that move. And obviously we haven't done that. Skip, is that being linked to a Ben Simmons caliber talent and all summer long, early in training camp, and you're still somewhat linked to his name? Is it more of a disappointment that the Sacramento Kings couldn't get a deal done for Ben Simmons, or is this something like you think I can still play out in the Kings' favor?
I have a very different take on the Ben Simmons thing. First thing I'll say is, Ben Simmons, what we've seen from him in the Eastern Conference, especially on the defensive end of the ball, his passing, his size, so his visibility on the court is top notch. Elite, court visibility.
Yeah.
I like that, and especially when he takes defensive assignments personal. I
Mhm.
love the results that you can get out of a Ben Simmons. Of course, this is a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. On the flip side, we're talking about a guy that has been in the NBA this long, and when it's time to go into the offseason, he doesn't get a serious trainer to train him. He's talking about, I'm going to go put some shots up with my brother. I
Mhm.
question how much he really loves the game, because
Right.
he's a very physically gifted person. But how much does he really work on his game, and how much of Ben Simmons, I don't want to say his individual performance, but let's say how much of his overall success has also been propped up by the fact that he's playing with Joel Embiid,
True.
also. So I like to look at all aspects when it comes to that. Would I like Ben Simmons on the Sacramento Kings? Sure. What will it take to get Ben Simmons? That's where things start to get a little more dicey with me. And my thing right now is, like I talked about his mentality on working on his game, and also, his mentality with handling this whole situation. He did this to a franchise that is a much better franchise than us.
True.
And we know about what Doc, let come out of his mouth, and we know what Embiid said, which Embiid didn't tell no lies. He didn't put 20s on it. Like, he
Oh yeah.
just said what Ben Simmons actually did. Ben Simmons, he regressed in that. But basically, think about it like this, and might be controversial to say, but Skip gets controversial. What we want Tyrese to do more of, be more aggressive and shoot more shots, that's what Simmons didn't do in one of the most important moments of his career. He passed up on shots and he reverted. He got
True.
scared of the moment. So, of course, that's like, we're just trying to get to the playoffs, and he did that, deeper into it. But overall, I think also a little bit Kings fans link us to Ben Simmons more than we have at this point been linked. Like, there's not a lot of ongoing talk. And if you remember, people like Sam Amick and other people kind of already said that things are really stale with that, and that it would take a De'Aaron Fox and nothing less and some in order to get Ben Simmons, because Monty McNair's former boss, Daryl Morey, has a very high value up there. So my whole thing is, I don't really know how realistic it is at this point that we even get it. But let's put that to the side for a second. I am one person who for a long time now, I learned a long time ago that deals don't just get done. It's not just a GM calls another GM and, hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, deals don't get done that easily. And especially when you have a more competent GM like Monty McNair, they're more inclined to say no and not be what the Kings used to be, where we just farm off our people to whoever call and ask. Like, that's how the NBA viewed us, just like an NBA FAR team. If I want a player from the Sacramento Kings, I'll just call them and I'll just take their player. I'm glad that it's not like that anymore. I'm glad competent GMs learn to say no. But getting deals done is not as easy as us fans like to believe. It's not just a GM hops on the phone, makes a phone call, and then that player is on a plane. Like, it's a lot more than that. The other team don't want to get worse. They're not trying to do us any favors, and we ain't trying to do them any favors. It's a compromise. How can they both equally lose something?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's how I feel about trades. It's not disappointing to me personally. And if there was someone that could get the deal done, on the flip side, I would say it's Monty McNair, because of how close that relationship is. So if the deal hasn't gotten done, I will trust that Monty probably did his due diligence, probably made the call, just saw what the offer was, and in that moment said, that's too much. Hey, it was good to see you. The gifts for your for my goddaughter, these will be in the mail.
Yeah. So speaking of Tyrese, I was obviously I speak for probably behalf of everybody from last season and how he felt to us, and the season that Tyrese Halliburton had last season, man, it got me excited about this season. I'm like, okay, we got our second piece next to Fox. We arguably may have probably one of the best backcourts coming into the season in the NBA. And I think them two are, with Fox and starting in the max, Halliburton eventually going to take over the 2 spot. I feel like them two can be a legit 1-2 punch in a great backcourt. So the season rolls around. I mean, we'll get to Davion Mitchell next, but the season rolls around. I expected more, obviously, from Tyrese Halliburton in particular, because at times I feel like he's too passive, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's a playmaker. I mean, the team's probably best playmaker on the team. Yeah. Last game he had 12 dimes, and the offense just flows better when the ball's in his hands. Now his shot selection and him passing up too many shots, that's got to change. That's got to change, man, because we know the kid, he can flat out shoot the ball. We know when he's at those wide open looks and he just pump fakes and he just, for whatever reason, passes up on those shots. It's like, Reese, multiple times if I'm at the game, multiple times if I'm watching the game, I'm like, bro, shoot the ball. Come on. We want you to take these shots. So what I'm trying to say is I'm a little disappointed because I feel like, he should be taking more shots because he's starting now, where opposed to last season, he's majority off the bench and he came in with the second unit. But this time it's like, you're starting, bro. We need you to take shots offensively. We need you to spread the floor. And what makes you think he's not? What do you think about that? Him not taking that many shots as we expect him to take many more shots than what he's taking right now.
That's my biggest thing. One of the things that I make the biggest point about when I do my breakdowns, because now what I've added to the end of each breakdown is there's a Fox watch, there's a Reese watch, and there's a D Mitch watch. So I'm always looking at those three because those three, I think we all envision possibly being the best 1, 2, 3 punch potentially in the Western Conference. Should we be able to develop their talents and really get them to blossom? I mean, all of us can just envision a Fox, Halliburton, and Davion Mitchell, just three-headed snake attacking backcourts night after night in the NBA, for seasons to come. So I'm always watching those three. And one of the things that I make the biggest point about to kind of, and I know at this point Kings fans see it, but I always go to Tyrese. And Tyrese at this point is my favorite player on the Kings, but I always go to it and I look at his attempts and I say, these are not enough. And then I go and I look at his points and I'm like, 12 points for a starting shooting guard. Even if we want to just call him a starting secondary ball handler, if we don't want to call him a true shooting guard because he is so much of a playmaker and a pass first guy, that's fine.
Right.
But you can't be a starting guard averaging 12 points per game unless you're playing next to someone who's averaging 30. You know what I mean? You can't. And like you said, Pete, it's not because he's not capable, but if he passes up another wide open three to try to dribble into the paint, his guy is closing out and he wants to blow past him and then try to make a play for a 2-pointer, I'm going to pull my last hair out of my bald head. You have to shoot that three. You have to, because here's the thing. If he thinks of himself as a playmaking weapon, he's right. But if he wants to be a playmaking nuclear bomb, he has to add more scoring to it because that's going to really create gravity around him and really open up the passing lanes for his incredible playmaking. So he has to get out of that second unit perspective that he was in last season and found success. He has to get into a starting shooting guard mentality, a starting just guard mentality, and then he will because here's the thing. If he easily just starts to go from averaging like around 11.5 to 12 points per game to averaging just 16 and a half, Pete, I promise you, we are riding that 500 line the rest of the season just off of that alone.
100%, Skip. I think that's why I'm a little bit more disappointed so far, not in the person that who he is, because we all know at the end of the day what he's capable of. We saw it all year last year, with the second unit coming in off the bench with the second unit and just, attacking the hoop, playmaking, shooting open taking advantage of his open jump shots. And I feel like, I don't want to say regression, but for whatever reason, it just feels like he hasn't taken the amount of shots that we expected or accustomed to see him seeing. And I feel like him starting now, he's got to take way more shots, bro, because it's just not enough right now. And I want to talk about Davion Mitchell. Shout out to Davion Mitchell. So we drafted him. We took him at number 9. Let's take it back to the draft. People are thinking we're crazy because we already have Halliburton. We already have De'Aaron Fox. Why are the Kings taking another guard? It's crazy because I had Davion Mitchell on my top 5 draft board, and people thought I was crazy. I'm like, man, you guys, just because he's a guard, he can tremendously help us out in areas like on the defensive end. Arguably, I mean, I watched a lot of college basketball, and I'm actually a Duke fan. I watch a lot of Duke ball, but I obviously watched Davion Mitchell tear it up in the tournament. I'm like, damn, if this kid's available, Monty McNair should consider bringing him for a workout, or even just have the scouting staff and team just do their scouting on him, because this kid can tremendously help us out on the defensive end if we put him in the picture, in the equation. So draft day comes, we take him at number 9. I'm excited because I kind of did my background and research on the kid, and I feel like a lot of fans were kind of mixed about it because, Moses Moody's available. There's other options too that are there. Sun Gun's available. Why did the Kings take another guard? Like, I don't get this, Pete. Why? Like, I don't understand this. My DMs is crazy, man. Like, my I just got back to everybody in a timely manner as I can, but I got a lot of mixed, just views of the draft pick, and uh, I thought it was a good draft pick, honestly, because defensively, we had the worst defense in NBA history last season,
Yeah.
and whether it's a guard or a forward, if you can play defense, I'll take you in the draft. And I feel like Monty McNair, although other players were available on the board and what were rumored to, or the mock drafts, what they said, yeah, a wing would have been nice because we obviously do need some wing help. But I feel like anytime if a defender like a Davion Mitchell is available and he everywhere you go, he's a winner and he's a good kid. If he's on the draft board, you got to take him. And Monty McNair, when he took him, I was like, wow, all right, we got Davion Mitchell. So how do you feel about Davion Mitchell being on the Sacramento Kings, and what's your thought of Davion Mitchell so far in his rookie season? He tore it up offensively last game. I mean, it's like anytime he's making shots, it's always a plus because we know what he's capable of on the defensive end. I said it straight up, like summer league, preseason, shoot, even the first game of the season against Portland, I said it. I think Davion Mitchell is the best defender the Sacramento Kings franchise has had since Ron Artest, and I stand by that because we haven't had a shutdown defender like Davion Mitchell since Artest, and I stand with what I say. And how do you feel about Davion Mitchell being the Sacramento King?
I'm very happy to have Davion Mitchell on the Sacramento Kings for many reasons. Of course, the defense is one of them, and I was a little mixed on him being drafted as well. Don't get me wrong. And it wasn't so much that we had so many guards. That didn't bother me so much. Even with what it was DeLon Wright that we had last season. I finally remembered his name.
DeLon Wright, yeah.
Yeah, I liked what DeLon Wright brought. But and we had just gotten him, but I was like, just take best player available. And my first pick that I actually wanted Book Knight. I wanted someone else who could come in and I felt like kind of fill it up and and be a shooter. But it made sense that we took Davion from the perspective of defense was our biggest struggle last year, right. And that's the easiest thing that he can come in and do to have an impact immediately in his rookie season. So I was like, okay, I get it. My only thing was with him is I was like, just his size. I was like, some of the people that we want to have him guard are going to be very tall, could easily be much taller than him. So him contesting them would be difficult. But Davion, not only being a good defender, but being a smart defender, he looks at each player and he defends them how he can. So he's like, okay, if you're tall, I'm gonna use my center of gravity and my strength, because he's stronger than he looks, and he looks strong. Man. To not let you get into your spots and get comfortable. To stay all up in your grill, just to be a pest. So I was like, okay, I can see that. What I like about Davion a lot, and I don't know how much credit he gets for this, but he often makes the right play, especially for a rookie. He often makes the right play. He drives to the basket at the right time. He takes the three usually at the right time. When he forces it, most of the time it's only when he gets the ball and we're deep into the shot clock and he got to put it up because our offensive possession didn't go well. He doesn't. Yeah. He's not a chucker. Yeah. So he makes a lot of wise basketball decisions on the court. And that's what I really appreciate him. My only thing that I'd like to see him work on, and this incorporates the coaching staff though, is setting him up for success. I would like to see him start from the inside out. I think the success that he has going to the rim, how he goes up at an odd time with the out hand and is able to get the shot up and get that thing to drop over much taller defenders and whatnot. And the fact that he goes for the score and not for the foul call is especially with the rule change. Pete, the rules just changed. Fox is still struggling and learning how to get around that. Yep. Davion don't even got to worry about it. I go for the bucket. I don't go for the foul. Yep. Him starting there and then working the game out, I think that's going to increase his makes as his confidence seeing shots drop go. So that's the only thing I would like to see him work on. But that also, like I said, coaching staff, get him going, set him up so he can get to the rim. Yeah. everything else opens up from there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't notice Skip, but he's actually left-handed. He shoots with his right hand, but he is actually left-handed. So that's why if you see him finish
Wow.
with the left hand, he's really good at finishing with the left hand because he's actually technically he's left-handed, but he
I
shoots
did
with the
not
right.
know that.
Yeah, he's left-handed. If you pay attention to him now moving forward, like if you see
Okay.
him finish with his left hand, he's actually left-handed. He finishes up with it really well with his left hand. I think a lot of people didn't know that about Davion, but he shoots with his right hand, but he's actually technically he's left-handed. So it's pretty cool to kind of see that. Like, whoa, like what? Like you're left-handed, dude? Like what? I did not know that. You shoot with your right though, man. But
It's
it's
amazing.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. And no, I mean, I'm excited about Davion's future and being here part of our organization as well. I think we got a good draft pick in him, and I think him being an older rookie, 23 years old, same age as Fox, whereas Fox is in his fifth year. I think there's still room to grow with Davion, man. There
Yeah.
really is room to grow. We know he's defensively a beast, and offensively, when he's making shots, it's always his plus minus ratio is it's off the charts, man. And I wanted to talk about overall like the expectations now moving forward. So we're through 6 games, we're 3-3, we're 9-14. Potentially, we have the chance to go 10-14. But for whatever reason, Skip, like this, first couple of weeks, first month of the season, it's like we've been a better road team than we have been at home. I don't
Right.
know why. That's been really weird to me. But at the same time, I guess we'll work with what we got and just keep pushing forward. What are your expectations moving forward? Like, what do you want to see moving forward from the team? Do you want to see this team climb back to being around the 500 mark? Because let's face it, we are capable of being a 500 basketball team. There's losses that we lost this season that we should have won from early on and from lately. And, there's games that we won, which we should have probably never had a chance to win, but we managed to win. I think this team currently, the way they're constructed, I'm not saying blow it up, but obviously the roster does need to be, there's work need to be done around the roster, and it's clear. But I feel like at the same time, what this team's capable of, I think they can climb back and be around that 500 mark. Whether that's good enough to be play-in or playoff, that's yet to be determined. But how do you feel about this team right now, currently moving forward? Like, what do you expect from this team? Do you want to see this team get climbed out of the hole that they're in? And do you think they can potentially do that and be around 500 mark?
I'm going to preface it with this. Clippers, Orlando, Charlotte, Cleveland, Toronto, Washington, Memphis, San Antonio, Golden State, Clippers, Memphis, OKC, Dallas, and Dallas. That's the rest of December. In December, I see a lot of opportunity for the Kings to at least close the gap on getting back to 500. I'm not so certain that we can get back to 500 throughout the rest of December, but if we can keep the energy consistent, if we can start putting together, if not 48 minutes of hard-nosed basketball, if we could more often put together like 38,
Okay.
37,
Yeah.
just like and having at the end of the games learn to close out more. I think by the time we come to January, we can really start to get there. And like you mentioned earlier, like once you get past the third seed, there's a very small distance between the next teams. There was a lot of teams that were tied for spots or one game away and all that other stuff. So other teams in the West right now early on are performing bad enough, honestly, for us to go up into that spot. I hate that players get injured, but it's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard, is going to be out, and there's some other things going on with some other players. So Kings have to take advantage of that
Advantage.
opportunity.
And
Mhm.
yeah, it feels it. I'm with you, Skip, because you still mentioned Dame Time getting hurt.
Right.
Denver Nuggets, obviously, they're dealing with a lot there with Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Pelicans with Zion. Yeah, he still had to make his debut. Very
Still out.
unfortunate there. I feel like one of the teams that's taken advantage of this are the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we
Completely.
saw them. We saw them a couple weeks ago, and boy, that core. I'm not gonna lie, I underestimated them. I felt like Anthony Edwards when it had I mean, not to sound crazy, he's stud. Rookie season was great. I
Mhm.
felt like him and deloading as a backcourt, I felt for whatever reason I felt like that wouldn't work because he need the balls in his hands, whereas opposed to
Yeah.
deloading needs the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
But they're proving me wrong. They got a solid core, man, with Towns in the middle, and they are going to be a tough outing, man. I mean, yeah, we went to toe with them, and you know it was under Luke Walton, so Davion Mitchell was on the bench, and we saw Ant-Man go crazy in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, right.
Like,
What
Luke,
happened?
you have your best defender on the bench. Why not give him a shot to put him on Edwards and give yourself a chance to win? But you know what? It's all in the past. Whatever, Pete. Let it go. I just wanted to bring that up because I felt like, hey, maybe Davion being on the court could have made a difference in that game. But my moral point is the Wolves are the team that have taken advantage of this early on with the injuries. And like right now, I think they're like eighth or ninth or even like somewhere in the top 10. But
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
And Karl Anthony Towns is about to be out for a little while too. So
and
there's an
man,
opportunity for them to slip.
that's what I was going to get to. Like Towns, he's going to be out for a little bit, and we'll see how they do without him. But man, Sacramento Kings, like the opportunity's there right in front of you guys. So it's like get with it, and just take it one game at a time. I mean, a record is pretty bad where it's at right now, but there's still plenty of basketball left, is what I'm saying. And I feel like this team is obviously very capable of playing a lot better consistently, and they should be better than where their record's at right now, and that's 9-14. So that's
Totally.
how.
And I just don't feel like losing is a good way to learn how to win.
Yeah,
Like we have talent. We've got Davion, Tyrese, and Fox, and we got them locked for a little while. Let's go for it and let them go balls to the wall. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of I understand tanking and I get it, and add talent and all that. But I think with Monty, let's say Tyrese fell to us, because I don't give him a whole lot of props for Tyrese. Tyrese was a no-brainer. If he didn't pick Tyrese, that would say more about him than
yeah.
him picking Tyrese.
I mean, like,
You
even
know,
like last year's, like I didn't even have Tyrese falling to us. Like I didn't even have him. I had him like probably in my top 5, top 7. I felt
same.
like he was that good where he would go early on. But for whatever reason, 10th, 11th, when he fell, I think it was the Spurs, but when they passed the bottom, it was the Suns. They took him. They took Smith at 10, I think, and then I thought he was going there for sure. Cause I was like, oh man, Booker, Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese.
But in that offseason, they traded for Chris Paul, and I was like, all right, they're set. But as soon as he fell to us at 12, I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer. The Kings got to take him here, and they surely Monty McNair, showed that, hey, best player available, I'm going to take him, and he fell to us. So it was good to see him
Exactly.
take Tyrese Halliburton at 12. So,
But I give Monty McNair props. I give him props for his trade ability. So
yes.
I'm like, if we need more talent, I have faith that Monty McNair can do some trades and get us what we need, and we don't have to tank to try to to add value to the team and then have to invest time in him learning the NBA. Just let him trade for a player that already knows how to play in the NBA, and then we go from there. So let's go for the wins.
Absolutely. So I got to put you on the spot. Favorite Sacramento King player of all time?
Ooh, you did put me on the spot.
It can be anybody
Pete.
from the past decades, from a current player. It can be anybody, man.
Okay. Dang, man. I'm trying to think of the player that I really loved the most. Okay, it comes down to two people for me.
Okay.
For me, it would come down between Jason Williams, white chocolate,
Double
and
nickel. Okay.
yep, double nickel, and Peja Stojakovic.
Oh, okay. Peja.
I'm gonna go with Peja because I like when I played hoop, I was like a 3-and-D type dude. So I was a shooter, and I defended. That was my bread and butter.
Nice.
So I loved to watch people shoot. Like I loved
Oh.
watching MJ shoot. I loved watching Glenn Rice shoot, and I
Yeah.
loved watching Peja Stojakovic shoot. Man, that stroke is just so beautiful. So I'm gonna go with Peja. And don't let Peja get like. Remember, Peja was always all cool and chill, but when
Yeah.
Peja started getting into it.
Yeah.
Like I loved it, man. I love your own dudes, man.
I can relate because like when I was younger, obviously during the Peja era and the Weber era and the white chocolate era as well. Just that era, that golden era that we had. It was cool, man. Our childhood rocked because going to Argo with my dad and my uncle and seeing Peja light it up, I'm like, dude, like this is crazy. Like this guy can shoot out of the gym, man. It's like one game he had like 40 something points against, I think it was against the Wolves or the Mavs. It was a regular season game. And like, dude, this guy was just pulling up from half court and making them. I'm like, dude, this makes me think like how he would play in like today's era, because it's a freedom to shoot where everybody's got range in this era, 1 through 5,
Yep.
It's crazy, but that's cool. That's cool to know at Peja. If you came out of Peja at White Chocolate, it'd be Peja. I'm gonna go with Weber. I'm gonna go with Chris Macy Weber.
Okay.
Just because, it's just something about like, so, we trade for him. We trade the Rock, Mitch Richmond for him. And I feel like the franchise's fortunes changed when we traded for Chris Weber. We knowing that Jason Williams, we drafted him out of Florida back then, and we needed a star next to Jay Will. And I felt like Chris Weber was just the perfect fit, man. And then as we traded for Weber, we got more pieces around Weber. And I feel like Weber just ascended and took us and put us on this basketball map. So that meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to my family too, because obviously before Chris Weber, even before Jason Williams, it was just Mitch Richmond, Reggie Theus, and they were good during their time, but obviously a lot of losing seasons, occurred. And we obviously have more losing seasons in our franchise than winning seasons. And I feel like the Weber era meant a lot to the franchise. And it was cool to see Webb just go up there and put us on the map. And yeah, that year he blew his knee out, I was heartbroken, man. I was totally heartbroken. Like it just mentally just drained me, man. And like our championship window was just shut, man. And I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to just envision it being shut. I had a hard time actually just believing it and taking it in. But when that went down, I was like, oh, dude, our window's done. It's over. It's time to press hard reset button and just see what we can do moving forward. And obviously after that, we all know what happened.
Yeah, we're here now. 15 seasons out of the playoffs. Yeah, man, ain't that something? Chris, like the where we're at now as a franchise has so much to do with Chris Webber's knee going out.
Dude, it's crazy because I tell you what, man. Like I'm the last time we made the playoffs was in 06 with Ron Artest. I was 16 years old. I was a junior in high school, man. So it's like 16 years later, I'm 32 now, and it's like this team we're still in the drought. And it's like, God, in my lifetime, hopefully, but man,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I just want to. I just want a 500 season. Just give me that, take it one step at a time. Like it's crazy, man. Because like in my family, because like my younger cousin, he's actually at the Suns. He's actually at the Warriors and Suns game right now. He's a big
dope.
Yeah, he's a big diehard Phoenix Suns fan. So I actually was gonna go with him, but then like you couldn't get extra tickets. So I'm like, oh, it's cool, man. You enjoy yourself with your friends. It's your team's in town. Go. We'll just go next time when they come to Sac. But he's a Warriors. He's a Phoenix Suns fan, and my older cousin, he's a diehard Lakers fan. So Thanksgiving was, every Thanksgiving or even just every time our teams play, I always get the short stick of it because obviously my team, the Kings, are below the Suns now. I mean, look at the Suns, man. 2 years ago, they won 19 games. Look at them now, man. They're just rolling, and the Lakers are the Lakers. So I'm always like viewed as a laughing stock because, the Kings are the Kings. But I just feel like, man, one day I'm just going to talk my shit when we're relevant, when we're great again. Like, man, I can't wait, But
can't wait, man.
It's crazy, man. And I want to talk about the NBA. So how do you think about the Western Conference? What do you think? How do you feel like who do you think is going to come out of the West? Do you think the Suns have a chance to come out of the West again, or you think that the Lakers could get it together and they can come out? How do you feel about that?
I am not a LeBron James fan, but I'll tell you what, I've learned to respect the man. You can't count him out. It's just not wise to count out Bron. I don't want to see the Lakers come out of it. I don't like how they've constructed the team. I don't like how they do business generally. I just, and it's crazy because I like Jeannie Buss, but I just don't like how they put and I like Rob Pelinka as a person, but I don't like the way he's GM'd. So I don't like nothing about it. And then getting Russell Westbrook, he used to be my favorite player to watch, but just to see what he's turned into and, and his disregard, for just changing his game for the sake of the whole entire team
Right.
just disgusts me. So I hope they don't come out of it. I do think it's really, and man, as much as I like Donovan Mitchell, I just don't think the Jazz. I shouldn't count them out. And Rudy Gobert, he's increased his free throw percentage, free throw shooting percentage and all that stuff. I would be surprised if they come out. I think it's between the Warriors and the Suns. And I'll be honest, right now with how both teams are playing, I can't pick between. What's gonna make the difference to me is seeing how Clay comes back.
How Clay comes
Depending
back.
on how Clay's the X factor of this. If Clay comes back, not even, I mean, I don't expect him to be Clay of old, but if he just comes back and he can just help fill it up consistently and
Yeah.
just play smart defense, not his old lockdown defense. I loved Clay's
And,
defense before.
and that's the thing. That's the thing with that type of injury. Offensively, he can still be the same player. He may not be the once great defender that he once was before with that injury, but I mean, it's crazy to see that the Warriors are good as they are without Klay Thompson. It's great to see Baylisa thrive in Steve Kerr's system. It's like, man, like I'm here, I'm watching opening night, belly dropping dimes and playmaking. I'm like, oh man, like damn, like he's thriving in Steve Kerr's system. And then
And
Steph
Luke
Curry,
didn't want to play him.
I know.
Remember when Luke didn't want to play him and he got mad at Luke?
I know you got mad at Luke, man. He's like, play me, Luke. And then Steph Curry being Steph Curry, obviously once in a generational talent, probably the best, the greatest shooting point guard of all time. So I think it's between them and the Phoenix Suns. I like the Phoenix Suns a lot too, just because I like DeAndre Ayton. I like Mikal Bridges, especially this year. He's turned it up this year. He's just a perfect 3-and-D guy. Would love to have that perfect 3-and-D guy on our team because I like playing Mikal. I like watching him play, man. He's just a perfect spot up shooter to spread the floor for Chris Paul and Booker. And he plays defense too. So what's there not to like about that as well? And out of the East, I'm going to go with Milwaukee again, man. I mean, I want to pick Brooklyn, but obviously with Kyrie and, the political stuff and whatnot, it's like, dude, like I thought Kevin Durant and Harden would step in to like convince him, like, hey, man, this is bigger than basketball. We need you, man. So
we came here because of you, and now you not here.
It's funny. I'm laughing because KD like left Steph to go with Kyrie, his homie, and I get it. He played 3 years with Steph. Okay, that's great, whatever, but it's like Kyrie's like doing his own thing, and I was like, hey, no, I'm holding out. I ain't playing. Like I'm not playing. So KD's like, you really left this dude for unreliable Kyrie. And it's like nothing against Kyrie, man, but man, some of the things that he says and some of the things that he's doing, it's like, dude, like, come on, man, get with it. They need you on the court, man.
Right.
But I
get it.
I got the Bucks coming out of the East, man, and it's cool to see they picked up Boogie Cousins. Yeah, I'm happy for Boogie. I'm happy that he's back on the court, and hopefully it works out for him. He's been injury prone, obviously, the last 3-4 years. But I'm hoping that this stint works out for him. Hopefully he gets another chance to win an NBA title. And I just think that the Brooklyn Nets, I love Kevin Durant. I'm a big Kevin Durant fan. I really feel for him because I feel like he could have made some better decisions, like as far as like, or just kind of convincing Kyrie that we need you on the court, man, come back, don't hold out. But it is what it is, man. That's why, because of that, I feel like they just don't have enough. Especially teams like against like the Milwaukee Bucks, who are just rolling, and they're looking like the defending champs. And I think that the Eastern Conference is gonna run through Milwaukee again, and we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. Skip, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was really cool chopping it up with you, man. Thank you so much. Really do greatly appreciate you coming on, man. And yeah, man, keep me posted. Let me know if you're gonna be out at the Golden One. I plan on going to a couple games. I'll keep you in the loop. Not sure. Just a lot going on, family, newborn baby in the house, nephew. Yep. So I'm definitely going to keep you in the loop, though, when I am at the Golden One, or I plan on going to the Golden One, man. So appreciate you coming on, man. Let's just see how tomorrow night goes. And let's see if the team can get with it, man. I want that. I want to see 10-14. 10-14 is a lot better than being 9-15. I mean, right?
Oh, absolutely, bro. Yeah, fingers crossed on that, and at the very least, what us fans deserve, even if we walk away with the L, what we deserve is a fight to the death down to the last damn second. So the Sacramento Kings, if you can't pull out the W, you got to at least keep it close and you got to punch back. So we deserve that as fans. I hope to see that, Pete. Can't wait to catch a game with you. Definitely keep me posted. I got a few games marked on my calendar that I'll be at. I know I'm gonna go to the Memphis game. And Sacramento Kings fans, it's been a rough go, but people like Sactown Pete, keep you inspired, give you the real, you know what I'm saying, but still bring the positivity. And we're like a support group for each other, all of us Sacramento Kings content creators. So, hey, just lean on us, you know what I'm saying? We'll do our best to, to get through it together with y'all.
All right, there you go, Sactown. You heard the man himself, Skip, man, from Sactown Breakdown. I appreciate you, Skip, coming on. Guys, go show him some love. I'll link his links in the description below. Just does a fantastic job on his channel and his Twitter, breaking it down, breaking all Kings coverage down. So go show him some love. Skip, man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Have yourself a great night, and I'll keep you posted, man. I'll definitely keep you in the loop, man. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. You guys take care. Have a great night. Keep pushing forward. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.